System+Divine Hero+Brainstorming+No female Lead+Invincible, the beautiful woman thought she was the Sea King, but swam into her brother's fish pond. Sun Kong, an ordinary college student with the reputation of being a scumbag, was scolded, slapped and physically assaulted at the beginning, but gained a scumbag system. A windfall of 900 trillion yuan in wealth, but one cannot directly buy a villa and drive a luxury car. Can only conquer a scumbag and good-looking female Sea King, unable to bind pure strength, physique, agility, spiritual power, lucky draw, treasure chest, open to explosive, add to refreshing. The system is in hand, I have a beautiful woman. Desire to become a demon in this world, reversing the world. Encounter gods to control gods, encounter immortal scum immortals. When encountering demons, slay them, when encountering saints, become holy. Invincible, I stand alone. Let's see Sun Kong become immortal and divine with a system and a physical body. Chapter 1. Desire for Demons in the Present World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the rugged mountain road, a group of burly and ferocious mountain bandits rode on horseback, each holding their swords in readiness, as if facing a great enemy. Suddenly, a rustling sound came from the grass on the mountain path, and the spirit of the bandit also became tense. The leading one-eyed dragon man let out a sharp whistle, and the bandits immediately clenched their weapons, all bowing down on their horses, and their eyes also focused on the small intersection where weeds grew at the end of the mountain path. After about half an hour, a charming little woman with a bun in her hair and a plain dress was struggling to walk along the rugged mountain path. She was holding a white handkerchief in one hand to wipe her sweat, and gently shaking a gold-painted paper fan in the other hand to gently fan the wind. Ha ha ha. A group of bandits burst out laughing, and the leader of the one-eyed dragon, had a glimmer of desire in his one-eyed eye. Big brother, is this the bloody disaster in the old man's hexagram that shows the time of the hour? I see, it's clearly the disaster of peach blossoms, ha ha ha. A big man next to the one-eyed dragon, like a half-black tower, carried a thick-back ghost head knife on his shoulder. As he spoke, his eyes scanned the beautiful little woman from head to toe, shining with a green light in their eyes. The bandit suddenly became agitated and chattered, saying, Big brother, you finished playing first hand, but you also need to make your brothers happy. It's been a long time since we've had such a water-spirited woman in Poison Dragon Ridge, It's strange to say that the woman turned a deaf ear to the words of the bandits, still walking on her own with a 3-inch golden lotus, twisting her waist and hips, and even unbuttoning her collar to reveal her tight red belly pocket. This action further aroused the desires of the bandits, and some of them even shed their saliva without realizing it. The one-eyed dragon, known as the Big Brother, dismounted and inserted the willow leaf steel knife into the grass, rubbing his hands and slowly walking towards the little woman. The woman neither ran away in panic nor froze in fear. She allowed the Cyclops to hold her delicate body in her arms and covered her face with a golden paper fan, whispering softly, You have plenty of desires. I like this tough and rough man. She reached out her soft and boneless jade hand to caress the Cyclops' thick and lush chest hair, and the Cyclops seemed to burst into laughter. With a gentle move from the woman's golden fan, a green flame burst out of his one-eyed eye. The little woman swallowed a cherry in her mouth. Because the one-eyed dragon picked up the little woman with its back facing the group of bandits, everyone thought it was because the Big Brother was eager to kiss Fangza, so those people just stayed right away watching the show and had no idea what had changed. Unexpectedly, their elder brother gently placed the beautiful and delicate woman in his hand on the ground, turned around and walked back in a daze. He pulled out the willow leaf steel knife that was inserted on the ground, and with a brush, he cut off the right hand of the nearest black tower man holding the ghost head knife. Blood splattered and screamed in agony, leaving the bandit stunned and unable to react for a moment. When the Cyclops killed the fifth person, the minions finally each wielded their weapons and screamed fiercely towards the Cyclops. The Cyclops' left hand had already been cut off, and its thick neck had been hit 7 or 8 times. The neck bone was broken, with only a thin layer of skin attached to its head. The ferocious Cyclops was looking at the other survivors from an incredible angle. The little woman seemed impatient and reached out to take out the handkerchief. With just a gentle shake in the wind, the small handkerchief turned into a long strand of white silk. She lightly lifted her vermilion lips and said, "Stop." The white silk was like a white lightning bolt, circling the remaining survivors together and flying back to the woman. She still uses the same old trick to gently shake the small fan. A thunderous roar pierced through the dark sky, and an old man with bare feet and hair fell from the sky. He was dressed in a white robe, with a crane-haired and childlike appearance, dressed in a way that was neither monk nor Taoist. However, his Sanskrit voice sounded like thunder. "Little friend, please take your time. Wasn't killing in vain destroying your millennium-long practice?" The little woman still smiled slightly and did not stop her hand movements. She swallowed the green flames that emerged from the human eyes one by one, and then gently shook the gold paper fan as if resting after a meal. Stubborn and inflexible. The old man flashed a flash of lightning from his middle finger with one hand and shot at the woman. The white damask quickly turned into a shield to block the lightning strike. She turned the gold paper fan on her waist and threw a huge rock tree at the old man with the momentum of towering mountains. With a flick of his sleeve, a purple flame rose into the air and the towering rocks turned into ashes. The little woman waved her hand slightly as Bai Lingfei flew back onto her body, and suddenly a golden small fan turned into a green light that shot straight into the sky. The old man stamped his hands and shouted, "Illness." A lightning bolt wrapped around a purple flame had already hit the escaping green light. The gilded paper fan, which had burned out its handle, slowly fell into the old man's hand from the air, swaying and swaying. He gently sucked in the purple flames on top and swallowed them into his stomach. Yu said, "It seems that the fate has not yet arrived." Thousands of years later, still on that rugged mountain road, the little shepherd boy lay on the back of a huge green bull, squinting his eyes and chewing on a leaf, shaking his little feet leisurely. The old man descended from the sky again, landing on the back of the cow without moving his mouth and hearing it. "Kid. If your desires are too strong, you will inevitably suffer a disaster of blood and light. Remember." The shepherd boy suddenly sat up from the back of the cow, but didn't even see a single figure. Chapter 2. Heavenly Wealth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The boy riding a cow grew up in the blink of an eye, quickly forgetting the experience of herding cows in the countryside and the words of the old man. He quickly adapted to life in the city and graduated from high school and went to a decent university. Park Chun-hung slapped the cowherd's face heavily with a loud slap, angrily cursing, "Sun Kong. You are just a scumbag. I gave you my body, and you still want to live with Zhou Haimei. Why? Can't I satisfy you? Who stipulated it? If we sleep with you, we can't sleep with anyone else." Sun Kong pouted without paying attention and forcefully argued. "Since you don't love me, why do you still pursue me for 3 years? I gave you my most precious thing, why don't you cherish it at all? What should I do now? Woo. What should I do?" Park Chun-hong crouched on the ground, covering her face with her hands and sobbing. To be honest, this is a good girl, with a plump and beautiful figure and 2 black braids on her face. It's a rare sight of a young and pure girl next door in college. If it were an ordinary boy, he would have slapped himself 18 times and memorized his disciples' rules 50 times, making the little beauty burst into tears and laugh. The two of them hugged each other and abandoned their past grievances, living happily and shamelessly. But Sun Kong just said coldly, "You've beaten and scolded, and you're still crying. It's me who should cry, right?" He whistled and walked towards the cafeteria with his hands in his pockets. "Damn it. There's only 1.5 yuan left in the meal card. I knew I wouldn't break up with Park Chun-hung today, so I could have had another meal." Looking at the 1.5 displayed on the inserted meal card, Sun Kong could only sigh at the card. The young man was still too arrogant and impulsive. Sun Kong. You can't play, can't you even afford a cafeteria? Nima, you're poor. A tall and thin guy with a flat head and a basketball uniform impatiently shouted from behind. This guy used to be one of Park Chun-hung's suitors and has always looked down on Sun Kong. Wu Jianfei. There's no need for your grandson to talk nonsense about my affairs, go to hell with your sister. Sun Kong was worried and had nowhere to go. He casually threw his plate over and then went up with a move to cut off his son's feet. Wu Jianfei instinctively used his plate to block most of the force from the kick, but even if a small force touched such a crucial point, it was really painful. If you want to be a strong-mouthed king, you must be punished. Sun Kong rose up in the air and kicked Wu Jianfei to the ground with a heavy kick. Sun Kong, you scumbag. How dare you hit our team's Dafei? Brother, beat him up. The 4 team members who wore the same basketball uniform as Wu Jianfei stopped working and threw away the plates of food in their hands. When they came around, they punched and kicked, making it difficult to defeat the 4 armed tigers with 2 fists and fearing the wolves. Moreover, these 5 individuals are the backbone of the school basketball team. They sweat a lot during training and their muscles are as strong as iron. How could Sun Kong withstand the fierce attack of these big guys? In just a few rounds, he fell behind. Fortunately, he had some experience of being beaten and protected his handsome cheeks in time. However, he was kicked hard in the stomach and couldn't stand firm, falling down. At this moment, Wu Jianfei, who was rubbing his second brother on the side, came over and joined the battle team despite being injured in some way. He kicked Sun Kong 5 times hard when he fell to the ground. He also encouraged others, kick me to death, my dad has money with his nose. I'll pay for the bar on Friday, Mr. Wu. What? That's a Friday bar, 1 seat is worth $3,000. The 4 of them suddenly had their eyes lit up and used their strength to kick over. Strong children are naturally cruel, and Hugo's words have a profound meaning. There is a gene in the human subconscious that produces pleasure when defeating one's own kind, and coupled with the reward, there must be a brave man. Can we fight without putting in some effort? After a stinky beating, Wu Jianfei spat out a mouthful of sticky yellow phlegm on Sun Kong's head. The 5 of them applauded each other to celebrate their perfect victory. To be honest, if they were to play 1-on-1 with Sun Kong, there might not be a chance of winning, but for them, the most important thing was how they would win and who they would fight. They calmly faced the curious gazes from the crowd and walked out of the cafeteria in a victorious manner, saying that they were so powerful that they looked like the Sakuraji Legion in a slam dunk. Wu Jianfei was the most enthusiastic and even said that he wanted to dye his hair red, so that it would be closer to the original work. Sun Kong was beaten hard for a while before getting up from the ground, wiping the blood seeping from his lips, and stumbling out of the cafeteria. Beside him were classmates who gave him mocking looks. When he was being beaten up just now, classmates who were hiding far away were still whispering to him from afar. Some sharp-eyed female classmates even pointed at the yellow phlegm on Sun Kong's head and let out silver bell-like laughter. As long as the war does not burn on themselves, the Great Flame Country has never lacked people to watch the excitement. Even if the onlookers charge 200 flame coins, some people will come over and pay to watch. Let's do a second creation on this matter. Choose a sunny day with thousands of miles and invite 3 to 5 friends to put together a few bottles of big green sticks, and talk about it until they foam. Sun Kong returned to his dormitory and first carried a basin to the water room for a simple wash. At least he washed away the phlegm on his head and lay on his bed wearing a damp vest and shorts. Ding dong. The Scumbag system has successfully bound to the host and entered the fusion stage. Sun Kong heard a voiceover sound in his ear, and when he opened his eyes, a huge computer screen appeared in front of him, displaying a progress bar that was merging 10%, 0.2%, 0.3%. The number on the progress bar finally became 100%. Sun Kong thought his eyes had been damaged and developed a pathological phenomenon of dilated pupils. He kept groping forward with both hands in an attempt to touch the screen in front of him, but no matter how hard he tried, he did not touch anything tangible. At this point, another line of text appeared on the big screen, congratulating the host Scumbag system for being completely bound to you. Name: Sun Kong Scumbag Gold. 9,000 trillion inflammatory coins personal wealth value. 1.5 yen strength. 10 physical fitness. 10 agility. 5 spiritual power. 0 spell. 0 divine power. 0 enhancement value. 0 The other values were already blocked by Sun Kong's 24K golden dog eye, and he only saw them 9,000 trillion, 900 trillion. What Bill Gates, what Buffett, what Rockefeller, are all scumbags in front of me. This value has already exceeded his computing power. Even if he spends so much money for 10 lifetimes, he won't be able to spend it all. The number 1 on Forbes should be changed, and he is the youngest billionaire. Sun Kong assets of 9,000 trillion yen. Chapter 3. Scambag's Counterattack. You are listening at novelfull.audio. DD. Please do not daydream. Scumbag gold cannot be directly exchanged for inflammatory coins for trading. Scumbag gold can only be used to pay for all expenses incurred by the host in conquering scumbag women during the scumbag action. The target scumbag must also be selected by the system with a scumbag value of 100 or above and bound before the host can start the scumbag action. Using your own charm, stamina, and money ability, do your best to capture the scumbag girl. When the loyalty of this scumbag to you reaches 100, you can not only receive a point reward of 5 enhancement points, but also have the opportunity to draw lots and open treasure chests. In addition, 10% of the scumbag gold you spent in this scumbag action will be directly exchanged for inflammatory coins and deposited into your bank account. Sleeping trough, I can't spend this money directly. Let me find something to cushion my stomach first. After all, I just got beaten and hungry. Is there anyone else who has suffered worse than me? Is it difficult for me to go hungry and become a scumbag to deal with scumbags? Sun Kong rummaged through boxes and cabinets, starting to sweep through the remaining food in the dormitory. Unfortunately, there was only half a bag of small household items, which looked like leftovers from human consumption. Hi. What about him? Let's talk after eating. Sun Kong chewed on the crispy noodles and asked a question in his mind: is it considered a scumbag action if I go out and find a scumbag woman? Can the system pay for my action? Of course not. When the host starts the scumbag action, it must be selected by the system with a scumbag value exceeding 100 and a scumbag value exceeding 90 in order to be bound by the system. Otherwise, even if the appearance value exceeds 100 but the scumbag value is below 100, the system cannot bind. If binding is not possible, then the host cannot pay any fees for the scumbag action, and the host will also get nothing. This is the gold card representing the scumbag's gold system. Sun Kong's hand was constantly picking out crumbs from his pocket, but unexpectedly he pulled out a golden card with 2 large characters in seal script. Scumbag man. Please bind your Alibaba Pay and WeChat Pay immediately. Sun Kong was instantly energized and immediately linked his card to his Alibaba Pay and WeChat Pay. Hey! Is that Zhou Haimei a scumbag? She just cohabited with me yesterday, and if I didn't insist on paying the 2,000 yuan rent for face saving, why would I have to eat this damn thing today? But that rental house is far from Tiandu University City, and I can't walk back on the 11th route like I did last night with a skinny donkey, can I? But now there's only 1.5 yuan in my meal card, and I can't swipe my meal card by Subway, can I? Sun Kong once again fell into a dead end of having no money. It's all because the rent near Tiandu University City is too expensive, and the houses that Zhou Haimei can afford are basically around 8,000 yuan per month. A bungalow priced at 4,000 yen per month, Zhou Haimei, that slutty woman, always has to take the subway to a faraway place to rent a house that she can afford, which also requires 2,000 yen, which directly empties his monthly living expenses. Just as Sun Kong hesitated, the system screen lit up again. Host, you don't need to face the other person face. You just need to contact them through electronic signals, such as calling a scumbag girl and sending a WeChat video or voice call. As long as you contact the other person, you can activate the scumbag system for screening. If they pass, they can bind to you and carry out scumbag actions. I'll take the exam. Time is money to me if I don't say it now. Contact me early and make money early. Sun Kong took out his phone and eagerly dialed Zhou Haimei's phone number. It took a while for the sound system to connect, and Zhou Haimei's voice was a bit strange, as if she was biting her lips and trying to suppress something. Where else can I be? All the money in my pocket has been paid for rent, and I'm eating instant noodles in the dormitory. Sun Kong complained a bit and was a bit skeptical. How did you make such a noise? Are you sick? Can't it be Yuan? Ah. The sound of Zhou Haimei's cry seemed very inappropriate, which immediately reminded Sun Kong of the voices he and Zhou Haimei had in the rental room yesterday. What the hell are you doing with airplanes? What are you doing? Sun Kong was a bit angry, but he wasn't sure if Zhou Haimei was doing that. It's okay, dear. A mouse just popped into the rental room. You know, I'm afraid of mice the most, it scared me a lot. Zhou Haimei switched back to her suppressed voice of biting her lips. Doodle doodle. System prompt. Name. Zhou Haimei age. 23 years old height. 1.65 m weight. 55 kilograms appearance. 75 loyalty. 500 scumbag value. 5,000 hobbies. Walking with 3 people, DD. Matching failed, binding to host failed. Loyalty point 500, no matter which man sees this value, he will get angry and say, Zhou Haimei, you ugly monster with an unattractive appearance. You dare to green me. Sun Kong instantly exploded, wanting to pull Zhou Haimei out of the phone and beat her up to calm down. In vain, I spent all my money on renting a house with you, and you, damn, picked up guests in the house I rented. The system's prompts, combined with Zhou Haimei's eccentric behavior, make a fool guess what she's doing. Brother Duffy, hurry up. Oh. Zhou Haimei, seeing that Sun Kong had told her through, resorted to a showdown without any sense of shame and shouted out loud, as if intentionally angering Sun Kong. Give me back the 2,000 burning coins for renting that house, otherwise I'll make it hard for you to keep going. Sun Kong's eyes widened with blood, thanks to this scumbag system, otherwise he wouldn't even know if he had been green. Sun Kong, you poor guy, are you willing to take a meager 2,000 yuan? To be honest, Zhou Haimei is not even in the pigsty you rented. She said she has always wanted to take a look at the most luxurious bar in the city, and you poor guy just didn't bring her here. Brother, I brought her here and we'll have a fight in the VIP private room at the 4,000 yuan per hour bar on Friday. I'm the first one, and soon each of my brothers will have a fight with your woman, ha ha ha. If you poor guy has money to come and hit us. I'm waiting for you, ha. Ha ha ha. The laughter of 4 or 5 boys came from the other end of the phone, which was the same group of people who hit him in the afternoon. Wu Jianfei, I'll fuck you, grandpa. Sun Kong roared into the phone. You poor person only deserve to fuck the air. You have nothing to fuck in your life, only me, a wealthy second generation, can fuck. You're like the phlegm I spit out. Wu Jianfei hung up the phone. Dudu. Sun Kong's phone rang helplessly. Is there really no true love in this world? Ordinary people like us can only play supporting role for the rich if we come to such an excellent university through hard work and hard work. We can't even play supporting role. People who spit at us say that it's precious liquid. Host, don't be too sad. You're no longer an ordinary person. Start the Scumbag's counterattack. Chapter 4. 3 Tasks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lock the target. Name. Wu Jianfei. Age. 25 years old. Height. 1.86 m. Weight. 80 kilograms. Appearance value. 65 Scumbag value. 1000 hobbies. Male up and female down. I'll take the exam. What a scumbag among scum. The scum has a value of 1000 and matches that Zhou Haimei is such a adulterous and promiscuous woman. Of course, if the scumbag's value is below 1000, the system cannot initiate the scumbag's counterattack action. The system prompt appeared again on the screen in front of Sun Kong. I see. So what should I do to succeed in the comeback? Sun Kong was a bit eager to complete the comeback. It's very simple. The host only needs to complete the 3 tasks assigned to you by the system to successfully counterattack. After successfully completing 3 tasks, you can have a chance to win a lucky draw and directly obtain a magical spell. What are the 3 tasks to complete? Sun Kong was immediately aroused with curiosity. Dudu Task 1. Have your ex-girlfriend Park Chun-hung willingly sleep with you again. Task 2. Wu Jianfei wields his sword from the palace and even worships you as his elder brother. Task 3. Have a blast with Zhou Haimei's chrysanthemums. Is this. Clearly an impossible task to complete. Leaving aside the other 2, Park Chun-hong now has the heart to kill me. How could she sleep with me? Can I choose to give up this scumbag counterattack? Sun Kong felt that this was intentional harassment by the system. No, once the counterattack begins, it cannot be stopped. If you choose to give up the mission, the system will leave the host's body and directly choose Wu Jianfei as the new host. Don't. Losing the system means I won't have a chance to turn things around even more. Since that's the case, let's fight back in the water. Didi kind reminder. All expenses incurred by the host during the counterattack operation will be paid by the bound Scumbag gold, but the Scumbag gold cannot be used for things unrelated to the operation, such as buying a house, car, food, and expenses for oneself. And if the counterattack operation is successful, all the amount spent in this operation will be 100% exchanged for flame coin and transferred to your account. Damn it. Why didn't you mention such an important situation earlier? This way, there's nothing wrong. Sun Kong thought for a moment and immediately launched a carp from the bed. After tidying up a bit, he hurriedly left. He deliberately picked the largest barber shop and walked in. 20 minutes later, Sun Kong contentedly stroked his bare head and walked out of the hair salon. Having identified the direction, he walked towards the affiliated hospital next to Tiandu University City. Then, he crouched non-stop on the necessary path for Park Chun-hung to return to her dormitory. 5 minutes later, Park Chun-hung and her roommates walked over, chatting and laughing. Sun Kong immediately took out eye drops, half a bottle poured into each eye, causing the circles of his eyes to turn red and his face to be stained with tears. He lowered his head and rubbed his hands, pretending to be very decadent, and walked towards him. Park Chun-hung saw him and deliberately turned around to continue talking and laughing loudly with her roommate, pretending not to see him. Chun-hong. It's me. I shaved my head, don't I know each other anymore? I'm Sun Kong. He shamelessly planned to start chatting with a smile. Brothers who want to pursue girls, if they want to successfully hold a beautiful woman back, the first step is to be bold, careful, and have a thick skin. If you can't do these things, you can only pray that the girl will chase you back. Park Chun-hung still pretended not to hear, didn't even glance at him, and continued walking without any hesitation. Spring red. Sun Kong let out a heart-wrenching scream, startling the birds on the nearby tree and flying away. A little girl with a lotus leaf head and big framed glasses pointed at Park Chun-hung with her snow-white fingers, and her boss reluctantly whispered, "I don't know Sun Kong, you've mistaken the person." Spring. Red. Sun Kong stretched out his voice and increased his volume, making another painful struggle. At the same time, he rushed up and knelt on both knees, tightly hugging Park Chun-hong's slender jade legs with both hands. He cried with tears and a runny nose, "Spring Red. I can't do without you." Wow. The playwright began to scream on her upper body. When the roommates around saw this situation, they all panicked and dispersed without even saying a word. The girl with big framed glasses seemed to be saying something, but she was also dragged away by the other 3 people. As the old saying goes, it is better to demolish 10 temples than to destroy 1 marriage. Park Chun-hong's pretty face turned red as if about to bleed, and she angrily said, "Sun Kong. You shameless scumbag. Let go of me. Otherwise, I'll call the police and catch you." That pair of little pink fists kept pounding on Sun Kong's bald head, not to mention the lack of hair protection, it really hurt a bit. "Chun-hong. You hit me hard. Hit me hard. If you don't hit me now, I'm afraid you won't have a chance to hit me again in the future." Sun Kong said with great talent for acting. Girls are often such strange animals, and when you ask them to hit her, they don't. If you don't let her fight, but she just wants to fight. Sun Kong. Don't pretend to be a victim there. Aren't you enough to deceive me? Go find your Zhou Haimei, don't come find me. I won't believe you anymore. Park Chun-hong struggled fiercely to break free from Sun Kong's clutches. "Chun-hong, I really didn't lie to you this time. Look, this is the diagnosis certificate I got at the affiliated hospital, and this is the critical illness notice for me to start chemotherapy tomorrow." As soon as the scene reached its climax, he immediately released his tightly held hands and took out the diagnosis certificate and critical illness notice that had just been issued for 10,000 yen from the hospital from his pocket, and handed them to Park Chun-hong. Park Chun-hong took it over with a skeptical expression and carefully looked at it. Patient. Sun Kong. After investigation, the patient is already in the advanced stage of lung cancer and needs to come to our hospital regularly for chemotherapy. Those who do not follow the doctor's advice will bear the consequences. Sun Kong was secretly pleased in his heart. You should take a good look. This is the diagnosis book and critical illness notice that I spent 10,000 yuan to open. The more you look, the more you will believe me. Watching Park Chun-hong's eyes moisten, although Sun Kong is a scumbag, his words are also kind when it comes to dying. This kind and beautiful girl has a heart as compassionate as an angel, and 2 lines of tears gush out of her big black eyes like broken pearls. Doodle doodle, kind reminder. Name. Park Chun-hong. Age. 23 years old. Height. 1.68 m. Weight. 48 kilograms. Appearance value. 120 loyalty. 200 scumbag value. 0 hobbies. Small animals. Spring Red is still the most loyal to me. Thinking of his past deception and betrayal of her, Sun Kong couldn't help but feel sad, and his tears couldn't help flowing out. But he is a diligent actor, and the play still needs to be done in full. He slowly embraced Park Chun-hong's delicate body into his arms, caressing her delicate hair and softly said, "Chun-hong. I am bound to die from this disease. I just didn't want to drag you down, so I used Zhou Haimei to force you to break up. Can you forgive me?" At this moment, Park Chun-hong was already sobbing uncontrollably, nodding her head and muttering, "You big fool. They have given you their bodies. What else can I hide from you about this? I originally wanted to die alone and not take away a cloud in the sky. But my mind is all about you, and I can't do without you. Can you accompany me through the last part of my life?" Sun Kong hugged the beauty in his arms, half praying and half gentle. "I will be with you, I will always be with you until the last moment. You won't die." Park Chun-hong leaned her head on Sun Kong's shoulder, feeling so good after a long time. Chapter 5. Everything is ready, only the east wind arrives. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Fish and water happily, gentle township, the spring breeze once revealed the bright sunshine. Daughter Row, the man just, the combination of yin and yang plays mandarin ducks. Lang Yuqing, my concubine has love, entangled with a beautiful and charming woman. Ding dong. Kind reminder. Task 1 has been completed. Wow. Alipay 10030 to account, damn it. That's great. The system even transferred the money for a haircut. Sun Kong chuckled, wondering how much money would be credited if all 3 tasks were completed. Early in the morning, why are you making such a fuss? Park Chun-hung lazily rolled over, revealing a fair arm from the blanket and a fragile fragrant shoulder. The thin blanket couldn't hide her slender figure at all. Sun Kong felt a moment of ecstasy as he cursed himself for throwing away the gold-inlaid jade but picking up a handful of feces. He then lay back in bed and hugged her waist from behind, gently kissing Park Chun-hung's jet black hair. I've been here 5 times since last night. Do you still want to come? Park Chun-hung blushed and complained about Sun Kong's strong energy. This kind girl never doubted whether a late-stage lung cancer patient still had this extraordinary physique. Mainly because being with you is never enough. Sun Kong lightly kissed her earlobe, while Park Chun-hung mischievously rubbed his angular face with the back of her head, like a little kitten clinging to its owner. Disgusting. You'll ruin them. Park Chun-hung's pretty face turned purple, responding coquettishly to Sun Kong. You sleep well for a while longer, I'm going to the affiliated hospital for chemotherapy starting today. Sun Kong's lie came out loud, and it sounded like it was true. Do you need me to accompany you? After all, you have such a serious illness and there is no one to accompany you, how can you do it? She flashed her cartoon girl-like agile big eyes and asked her lover with concern. Don't worry. Besides chemotherapy, I also have to do some other tests, which are very complicated. I may not be able to come back until late today. I'll treat you to a lollipop when I come back. Sun Kong still said the most romantic words without blushing or jumping. What kind of lollipop is it? Master Park Chun-hung couldn't figure it out and was stumped by Sun Kong's terminology. This girl was a bit naive and cute, maybe she had a big chest and no brain. That's this lollipop. Sun Kong, with his usual scumbag-like demeanor, led her slender hand towards his own pillar of the sky. Stinky scumbag. Who wants your lollipop? Humph, I won't talk to you anymore. Park Chun-hung suddenly understood the implied meaning, and her already blushing face added a touch of blush. She turned around and ignored Sun Kong, seeming angry. Take care of yourself when I'm not around, remember that you'll always be my woman. Sun Kong stood up, dressed up and ready to go out for work. Just as he was about to push open the door of the rented house, Park Chun-hung sat up with a blanket wrapped around her body and warned, be honest with me when you go out to see a doctor, otherwise I'll bite off your lollipop. After speaking, she seemed to feel her words were a bit revealing and shyly hid in the blanket. Sun Kong just smiled happily and didn't say anything, then pushed the door open and left. He certainly didn't actually go to the affiliated hospital for chemotherapy, but went to the bank. Then, he returned to Chengdu University and stopped Zhou Haimei who was about to go to the study room. Why do you want to take revenge on me? Go to Wu Jianfei for revenge. What's your ability to bully a weak woman? Zhou Haimei lifted the bangs in front of her and shook the 2 Wangzai small mantu in front of her chest. She also took out a cigarette from her brand new satchel and lit it, looking like a dead pig is not afraid of boiling water. This bag is only a few thousand yuan too big, it seems that you can't make much money by running a superficial business. Is Wu Jianfei very stingy with goods like you? Sun Kong retorted calmly. Humph, it's easy to say a few thousand yuan. If you're a poor person who can take out a few hundred yuan from your body now, I'll obey you. Zhou Haimei held a cigarette in her mouth, disdainfully holding onto her shoulder and calmly spitting out a cigarette ring. Originally, I was looking at our past friendship and wanted to help you earn some money. Since you don't want it, I won't force it. Sun Kong casually took out a stack of thick bills from his file bag and played with them, leaving Zhou Haimei with a graceful figure. Money. Zhou Haimei's eyes widened like mosquitoes seeing blood. This pile of money was at least 10,000 yuan. When did Sun Kong develop? Honey, wait a minute. Zhou Haimei would not let the god of wealth go easily. She threw away her cigarettes, hugged Sun Kong from behind, and kept rubbing his back with her own Wangzai small mantu. It was difficult for water to get rid of Wushan but not clouds. After being nurtured by Park Chun-hong 36D, how could Sun Kong possibly take these two little things seriously? Without hesitation, he opened Zhou Haimei's hands and said coldly, "You show me respect. In my eyes, you're just a bus that can't be refueled. The smell on you makes me sick." Zhou Haimei's eyes were always fixed on the stack of bills in his hand, not caring about what Sun Kong was saying. He looked at Zhou Haimei's greedy eyes, smiled like a winner, raised his eyebrows, and directly ordered, "You want to make money, right? We can talk about it in a secluded place." Upon hearing the word, money, Zhou Haimei regained her senses and nodded her head desperately like a chicken pecking at rice, afraid that Sun Kong would turn back and say, "Okay, okay." There is a residential building behind the self-study room of Tiandu University, which was specially purchased by Wu Jianfei's parents to ensure his son's peace of mind in his studies. Despite its small size and high value, it is an astronomical number that the working class would shy away from. If one could have their own place in the land of Tiandu University, they must have certain economic strength. However, what disappointed them was that Wu Jianfei skipped class and hid inside smoking and playing cards with his friends, besides dating and playing with different girls inside, without taking his parents' earnest hopes for him seriously. Zhou Haimei opened the door and the floor was littered with wine bottles. Sun Kong couldn't help but furrow his nose and say, "Wu Jianfei has gone out. Isn't he with you every day? Don't be funny when you're with me. He either plays basketball or hangs out with friends at Friday bars. If it weren't for having a free house to live in, I would be with him." Zhou Haimei said confidently, using shamelessness as a business deal. Pang! Sun Kong steadily threw the thick stack of banknotes in his hand into the trash can. "Go. Pick up the money for me." Zhou Haimei's eyes lit up and she rushed to the trash can like a hunting dog, ignoring the spoiled garbage and the stench. Driven by money, she looked like an obedient dog. After flipping over the money, she eagerly returned to Sun Kong. "Are you also worthy to stand at the same height as me?" Sun Kong's eyes turned cold, and an inexplicable sense of oppression came unexpectedly. Zhou Haimei lay on the ground with a clear understanding, still clutching the stack of bills like a loyal dog waiting for her master's next command. "Very good." Sun Kong smiled contentedly, then took out the same stack of bills from his file bag, shook them in front of her, and threw them into the trash can. "This time, you're going to use your mouth to get them back for me. If you can do it, all of this money will be yours." Without any hesitation, Zhou Haimei moved her limbs like a dog. In her fanatical eyes, there was only a reflection of money, as if she couldn't even see the dirty and filthy things in the trash can. Her pure white teeth stubbornly bit the thick stack of banknotes, and even counted its number with her tongue. She slowly crawled back to Sun Kong. Sun Kong looked down at the obedient dog who had just regarded him as a poor person but was now conquered by money. "Very good, very good." Sun Kong clapped his hands and smiled, feeling the pleasure of revenge that instantly lifted his head. He opened his file bag and revealed a stack of neatly tied 100 yuan bills inside, saying, "As long as you do what I say, all of this money is yours." Zhou Haimei's gaze was instantly attracted by a bag of colorful beauties. She was so excited that she couldn't speak. She opened her mouth and looked at the towering man in front of her. Sun Kong designated him as a hidden second-generation wealthy man, and I will do everything to keep this gold mine. She made up her mind to throw away her little mantu, wriggled her waist and legs and tried her best to show off her coquettishness. She slowly turned her back to Sun Kong, lifted up her skirt, and said in a quiet voice, "I understand. What kind of pose do you want? How many times can it be?" Sun Kong's eyes darkened and he almost spat out old blood. This slutty hoof actually thought he was going to use money to do that with her. What an overestimated SB. Sun Kong didn't hesitate to kick her buttocks and kicked her like a dog to eat shit, saying, "Damn it. You don't even pee and take care of yourself. Even if you're like a ghost, it's worth the money I've spent. Show me your dog ears, do as I say, and I'll have money for you to continue earning money in the future." Zhou Haimei didn't care about breaking her forehead just now, so she obediently crawled back and handed her ear over. Sun Kong whispered to her for a while. Chapter 6. Meeting unequal opportunities and helping each other. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sun Kong finally understood what "money can make ghosts grind" meant. With a victorious smile on his face, he walked out of Wu Jianfei's house, constantly pondering the next plan. He took the opportunity to jog along the lawn of the Sui River embankment, enjoying the scenery while exercising. Suddenly, someone in front shouted, "Someone jumped into the river. Help someone." Pup saw two sturdy men jumping into the river and swimming towards the person who had fallen into the water. The two of them had excellent water skills, and in just half a cup of tea, they even dragged and pulled the person up. Thanks to the timely rescue, the young man who fell into the water was unharmed and regained consciousness after spitting out 2 sips of water. The crowd watching the excitement around him saw that he had turned the corner and there was no more excitement to watch, so they instinctively dispersed and went their separate ways to make ends meet. Only the 2 men who saved people, disregarding being soaked in the river and starving in clothes, advised the young man, "Xiao Wu, isn't it just that you haven't been paid? As for searching for life and death, you're still young, and there's still a long way to go." Xiao Wu stared blankly at the grass in front of him and said, "Third brother, why do you need to save me? We've been working tirelessly on the construction site for a year, and we haven't paid a penny. My father went to fight with the contractor and was beaten to death. He's still lying in the affiliated hospital. If we keep dragging on like this, we might as well die. Woo-woo. Men don't shed tears lightly because they haven't reached their sadness yet." Xiao Wu, who looked only 17 or 18 years old, had a youthful face that matched his large hands, which had become thick and covered in calluses and scars due to excessive physical labor, making him look so out of place. Another man fumbled in his shirt pocket and took out 2 dripping bills, saying, "Xiao Wu, there are still 200 yuan left for my second brother. You should take it as a precaution. You're so young, you can't act recklessly." He handed over the bills with his cracked and rough hands that still kept his temperature. "Second brother. You still have to send money to your children for dinner. I can't take this money." 3 ragged migrant workers who couldn't eat at this moment emitted a radiance of humanity. They were engaged in heavy and humble physical labor, earning meager wages, but it was the cleanest money in the world. There are many blind people who repair bridges and roads, and many who kill and set fires. Does Nima still have the right to do so? Sun Kong couldn't help but curse in his heart. He walked up and threw down a stack of money, saying, "Brother, take this money and treat your father first." The 3 of them were startled by the sudden situation, staring straight at the stack of 100 yuan bills in a daze. They looked at the money and then at Sun Kong. The man named second brother slapped himself 5 or 6 times before realizing it was not a dream. Xiao Wu suddenly knelt in front of Sun Kong and hugged his thigh, crying, "This big brother, your great kindness. Even if I were a cow or a horse, I would repay it." Sun Kong didn't expect Mo Xiaowu's reaction to be so severe. It's just 10,000 yuan to make a man who has been tormented by life bend his knees and kneel down. This feeling is really heart-wrenching. Sun Kong quickly helped him up and said, "Men, don't kneel down so easily. If your spine bends, you won't be able to straighten up again. My money is not given to you for no reason. Taking money to help others relieve disasters." The third brother, who had never spoken before, suddenly spoke up and said, "Boss. We understand the rules, so you can tell who else you want to deal with. As long as you can afford the money, we have the strength and courage to live a good life. Even if we end up getting shot, it's still worth the pressure of the car. Ha ha ha, don't worry. I dare not take people's lives casually, and it will be difficult to get into trouble with ghosts. Everything I command you in the future will definitely be reasonable, legal, and compliant. As long as you three work with me well, we won't treat you unfairly." Sun Kongji proudly painted a big cake for the 3 migrant workers. The oldest second brother spoke again and said, "Boss. Don't worry, the 3 of us can trust you. After all, a boss like you who doesn't work and only gives us money first can be considered a scorpion cake even in the city." "Second brother, what are you saying?" Third brother quickly stopped second brother's words, also afraid of losing the god of wealth in front of him. He quickly apologized to Sun Kong, "Boss, we are all from the countryside and have little culture. As adults, if you have a lot, don't take it to heart." Sun Kong just smiled and said, "You 3 are all sincere people, I believe you. Tomorrow is still this time and this place, I will wait for you here. Ugly words are ahead, if I don't see you 3 by then, I won't wait for a minute, I'll leave immediately. I have something else to do, you and Xiao Wu should go to the hospital to see his father first." After speaking, he turned around like a hero without looking back, leaving only 3 migrant workers with admiring eyes as they watched their backs disappear into the crowd. As Sun Kong walked, he was still secretly calculating, "We have the bait, we have the output, and we still need a doctor. I can't just file another life lawsuit just to complete the task, it will not be worth the loss. Yes, I will talk to Dr. Zhou now." Someone may want to ask, who is Dr. Zhou? Nature is the director of the urology department at the affiliated hospital who helped Sun Kong issue a lung cancer certificate. 20 minutes later, Sun Kong walked into Dr. Zhou Xiaoguang's director's office with ease. At this moment, he was half lying on the swivel chair, with his short legs resting on his desk, humming a tune and carefully browsing through a rich Playboy magazine. "Director Zhou." Sun Kong obsequiously called out, almost causing Zhou Xiaoguang to dodge and fall off the office chair. He angrily slapped the magazine on the table and shouted, "Didn't I mention it before?" The money and proof were settled face to face, and after the incident, they split up without any connection. "I don't know you, and don't you know me either. Director, calm down. I don't think I'm giving you a bit less money and asking you to do a bit more. A small gesture is not respectful, I hope you accept it with a smile." Sun Kong had already slapped a thick stack of 100 yuan bills into Zhou Xiaoguang's hand. "Oh my, it's all brothers, you're still messing around. Our buddies are in a relationship, and you're too far-sighted. Let's not make an exception now." Zhou Xiaoguang smiled and couldn't close his mouth. He quickly put the money into his white coat pocket and asked with a cheerful expression, "What kind of proof do you need?" "It's not that I'm bragging. As long as it's a certificate from the affiliated hospital, Director Zhou can provide it, and I guarantee it's 100% authentic." He confidently patted his chest, causing the 2 lumps of fat to tremble uncontrollably. Chapter 7. Poor People's Thinking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Cough cough cough, Director Zhou, you misunderstood. I'm not here to provide proof this time. Sun Kong surprisingly took the initiative and sat down in Zhou Xiaoguang's seat. "Oh," Director Zhou immediately took out a handkerchief and carefully wiped the sweat seeping from his forehead, asking, "What are you doing here?" Sun Kong, like Zhou Xiaoguang, tilted his foot onto his desk and casually said, "Don't be nervous, I'm here to ask you a few professional questions." "Is that so?" Zhou Xiaoguang still cautiously looked at Sun Kong and whispered, may I hear more about it? It's like this, Director Zhou. If a man's genitalia is cut off, will it endanger his life? Sun Kong began to ask. Is this? If you don't receive timely treatment or stop bleeding in time, it will certainly endanger your life. Ah. Do you think so? Zhou Xiaoguang opened his mouth and widened his eyes, looking at Sun Kong like a monster. No, 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 it's not me, Sun Kong quickly explained in a panic, well behaved, I don't want to be a eunuch. Shoo. Zhou Xiaoguang breathed a sigh of relief and said, so why are you asking this? I'm the director of the urology department, and the only thing I can do is circumcision or penile suturing. I haven't had any experience with penile resection. Who would be foolish enough to do penile resection on their own these days? Did they find some martial arts secret book, such as the Sunflower Encyclopedia? Ha 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 ha. Zhou Xiaoguang was completely amused by Sun Kong. He couldn't understand what exactly Sun Kong had contracted and had to ask these questions. You didn't hear my question clearly. I mean a person castrated themselves. Can you save their life in time? Sun Kong decided not to hide and threw out his own question directly. If there are corresponding medical devices, I think there should be no problem. After all, I used to be the chief surgeon at Columbia Medical School. If it weren't for being drunk. Hey, don't say it anymore. Brothers have already talked about this, why do you just say what you want to do? Zhou Xiaoguang seemed a bit impatient. He didn't know what medicine Sun Kong was selling in his gourd. Sun Kong smiled and leaned in his ear, whispering in a low voice. Zhou Xiaoguang immediately stared at Sun Kong in astonishment for a while, but shook his head slightly. Sun Kong calmly stacked several stacks of banknotes in his file bag neatly on Zhou Xiaoguang's desk. Zhou Xiaoguang stared at the money as if he had seen a naked beauty, swallowed hard, and shook his head fiercely. Sun Kong remained calm and slowly extended 5 fingers, saying, besides that, I'll add this number to you. How about that? Zhou Xiaoguang originally wanted to refuse, but couldn't help but feel an extreme desire in his heart. He nodded first and then shook his head. He crazily pulled back and weighed the pros and cons in the office like a donkey pulling a grinder. Then I'll add this number to you again. Sun Kong extended 5 more fingers. No, 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 if you can't do it well, it will be a headache. Brother, I have people from all walks of life, so don't force me, okay? Zhou Xiaoguang felt like the cover girl of Playboy insisted on having sex with him, but he had to have a circumcision surgery before going to bed. Okay. 5 million. How about a fixed price of 5 million? As long as you save that kid's life, today's 500,000 can be considered as a deposit, and I'll make it up for you immediately after it's done, okay? Sun Kong patted the table and stood up from his office chair, not believing that there were still things in the world that could not be done with money. How much, how much? Zhou Xiaoguang's voice trembled with excitement, even the fat on his cheeks trembling incessantly. How much do you want to say again? Sun Kong shook 5 fingers at him and reiterated, 5 million. Is it 5 million yen? Zhou Xiaoguang still couldn't believe his ears. Of course it's 5 million yen, can I still give you $5 million? Sun blankly glanced at Zhou Xiaoguang and said, it's a deal. He left him with a handsome figure, turning around and leaving him with only a smirk while fiddling with his fingers. It took me a while to argue with this kid before I realized that the more scumbag gold I spent in the Scumbag counterattack, the more cashback I would receive after completing the task. What price should I still TM with him? Typical poor thinking, this bad habit needs to be quit quickly. Otherwise, it's delaying my own income. Sun Kong laughed as he walked out of the affiliated hospital, and regardless of the people around him, he looked at him like a mental patient. People feel refreshed during happy events, and for the first time, Sun Kong felt so relaxed and happy walking home from such a far place, returning to the rental house as a temporary love nest. He walked into the house and closed the door, and immediately saw Park Chun-hung busy in the narrow kitchen. This simple and beautiful girl was flipping through her phone to search for ways to make minced meat and eggplant, while waving a shovel to flip through the ingredients in the pot. Even Sun Kong opened the door and entered the house. She didn't hear her wholeheartedly preparing a delicious meal for her lover. From time to time, she raised her white jade hand to wipe the sweat off her forehead or trim her hair in the way of sideburns. She looked like a virtuous little girl at home. Sun Kong felt a little distressed and felt infinite pity in her heart. She could not help swearing in her heart. Chun-hong, I swear to God that in my lifetime, I will not let you get hurt any more. His eyes turned slightly red, and tears slipped down unconsciously. Sun Kong quickly wiped away his tears and hugged Park Chun-hong's slender waist, burying his face in her soft hair. Oh my, are they cooking? Don't you mess around. Look, the dishes are going to burn. Park Chun-hong spoke without stopping her hand flipping the frying spoon, but by this time, Sun Kong's Lushan claws had climbed onto her 36D curve, and her hot lips were whispering in her ear, "Darling, what's delicious to make? Is it even better than my lollipop?" A sentence from a seasoned scumbag had already driven her sexual desire to the limit. Just this sentence made Park Chun-hong's pretty face blush to the ear. Fortunately, she was no longer an inexperienced little girl, otherwise she would fall into Sun Kong's arms and cook anything else. Let's talk about it first, Wushan Yuyan. Chapter 8. Spring Breeze. Once upon a time at Yumen Pass. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Park Chun-hong turned her head to her crimson cherry lips and imprinted them on Sun Kong's cheek. She coaxed a child and said, "Be good and go to the table, set up the dishes and wait for me. There's one more dish to serve. Obey my wife." Sun Kong took a step back and imitated Jackie Chan's funny Hong Kong-style salute in Plan A, causing Park Chun-hong to burst into laughter. The rice in the rice cooker is cooked perfectly and the amount of water added is also appropriate, so the rice is not soft or hard and emits a tempting rice aroma. Sun Kong served 2 bowls of rice and set them up, while Park Chun-hong also placed 2 plates of cooked dishes on the dining table, 1 plate of minced meat, eggplant, and 1 plate of fish-flavored shredded meat. Although it doesn't sell well, the taste is definitely not bad. Sun Kong savored the food carefully and said in plain language with a beaming expression, "Chun-hong, do you know?" "What?" Park Chun-hong slapped the table with a loud bang, causing the bowls and chopsticks on top to jump violently. "Ah!" Sun Kong almost bit his tongue and, like a frightened chick, saw the eagle rushing towards him. Why did I say something wrong? Just now I called her a wife. How did she turn into Chun-hong now? Park Chun-hong replied angrily, giving Sun Kong a blank look. "Oh, it's because of this. I was wrong," clapping and clapping. Sun Kong not only finished talking, but also really slapped himself twice. "How about it? Wife, are you satisfied? Otherwise, you can hit me again to relieve my anger. Let's be careless. Forgive you this time, and if you do it again, you'll be fined 2 months not to touch me." Park Chun-hong picked up the dishes and ate with satisfaction, naively thinking that this would be a successful way to hold on to Sun Kong, a scumbag, but little did she know that she had already been stolen by this scumbag Sun Kong. How can a person who doesn't know the true face of Mount Lu and only lives in this mountain and is in the midst of the situation see their own situation? Sun Kong saw that Park Chun-hong was no longer angry, so he continued, "Wife, I have some good news to tell you." Park Chun-hong chewed on the food in her mouth and asked, "Can you tell me what the good news is? I'm not really in the advanced stage of lung cancer. It was the doctor who mistakenly took my examination report and another person's examination report yesterday that caused this big mistake." Sun Kong said in a flustered tone, but his expression and pace were perfectly coordinated. Even when FBI agents came to interrogate him, he couldn't see any flaws. "Ah. Really? Park Chun-hong flashed with tears in the big eyes of the manga girl, excited and incredulous, once again questioning the truth of Sun Kong's story. Sun Kong nodded solemnly and said, "It's true, wife. Can I still deceive you in our current relationship?" "That's really great." Park Chun-hong immediately rushed over and hugged Sun Kong's head. The two big white rabbits on his chest made him unable to open his eyes. She was so excited that she said incoherently, "That's great. That's great. You big scumbag finally don't have to die." Sun Kong was almost suffocated by the pressure and forced his hand to spread a little distance, saying, "Wife, don't be too excited. You are the legitimate disciple of Gu Yuan's 9-ring Tong Bei fist. How can I stand it as an ordinary person?" Park Chun-hong quickly withdrew her strength and smiled, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, husband. I forget when I'm happy." Isn't that too happy for her? This simple girl with martial arts skills didn't even think about anything else. She only considered Sun Kong as a survivor and prayed again for his good health from now on. After graduation, the two of them got married. "Wife, there's another piece of good news. Do you want to know?" Sun Kong blinked and teased Park Chun-hong. "I want to know. You speak quickly." Park Chun-hong blinked her big eyes, like a little girl listening to her grandfather's story. "Do you want me to say it?" "I won't say it, making you anxious and giggling." Sun Kong showed a typical scumbag-like smile, with a look of wanting to be beaten. "Hurry up and tell me the truth. Do you hear me?" With a click, Park Chun-hong's phoenix eye fist has shattered the entire dining table. The food on the table is scattered all over the ground, leaving only the bowl and chopsticks still in Sun Kong's hand untouched. "Oh my! Oh my! I violated my master's rules again, it's a sin." Park Chun-hong's expression was like that of a schizophrenic patient, sometimes harmless to humans and animals, and sometimes boundless in power. Sun Kong saw the power of her punch and suddenly remembered the time when he falsely claimed to have cancer and deceived her. It was so suspenseful. If she knew he had deceived her, his head would be smashed like that table. At this thought, he couldn't help but tremble with cold sweat and his face turned pale and bloodless. Park Chun-hong didn't expect so much. When she saw Sun Kong trembling like a sieve with her phoenix eye punch just now, she quickly went up and hugged him into her soft arms, comforting him gently and saying, "Don't be afraid, my lord. I accidentally broke that table just now, I didn't mean to scare you. Can you forgive me?" "Forgive me, of course I have to forgive you, wife. I can't say I won't forgive you either." Sun Kong wiped the cold sweat on his forehead as he put down the dishes in his hand. "Wife, I'm afraid even the world boxing champion couldn't resist your punch. You won't use it on me in the future, will you? I don't want to die young like this. Death, you are my precious husband. How could I possibly punch you with a full back punch?" Park Chun-hong chuckled, feeling that Sun Kong was too worried about the sky. "No, my wife. I'm not afraid of 10,000, just in case. How could my body resist your attack? Does your martial arts have any kind of cover door? Is it the kind that allows me to use it temporarily to save my life?" Sun Kong still didn't give up, with an attitude of breaking through the sand pot and asking the bottom, insisting on thanking Park Chun-hong. "Well, I haven't heard of my master covering the door before, but you can scratch it before I'm lucky. I'm the most afraid of itching. Any domestic martial arts emphasizes practicing one breath internally and practicing muscles, bones, and skin externally. If it's that breath, of course, you won't be able to gather strength." Park Chun-hong transformed back into the image of a harmless neighbor's little sister, speaking in a gentle and quiet voice like a small mosquito flapping its wings in the air. "Really? Then I'll give it a try." Sun Kong immediately raised two index fingers, one pointing towards Park Chun-hong's armpit and the other towards her waist, constantly tickling. "Ha ha ha, don't try so hard, ha ha ha, I'm really afraid of itching." Ha ha ha, stop it. You ha 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 stinky scumbag, ha ha ha, stop it. Ha ha ha, I'm laughing so hard that my stomach hurts. Park Chun-hong didn't lie as expected. Sun Kong just lightly tapped her laughing hole a few times, and she was already soft and lying directly in Sun Kong's arms. Sun Kong naturally carried Park Chun-hong into the bedroom, and soon after, there were sounds that were not suitable for children in the room, 10,000 words omitted here. After a series of ups and downs, Park Chun-hong leaned against Sun Kong's solid chest like a satisfied kitten, feeling his breathing and heartbeat. Sun Kong also closed his eyes slightly and slowly recalled the infinite tenderness just now. Husband. You didn't have time to say what the second good news was just now. A woman's memory is sometimes so good that she can't forget it. Park Chun-hong suddenly remembered that Sun Kong had just said what the second good news was, and the two of them had already undressed and started doing love cheerleading. Isn't that because you're too impatient? Sun Kong looked at Park Chun-hong with a mischievous smile, and the claw of Lushan was about to climb her twin peaks. Damn it. You stinky scumbag, I'm moving back to the dormitory tomorrow. You can't touch me within a month. Park Chun-hong suddenly knocked off Sun Kong's demonic claws and broke free from his embrace, sitting on the other side of the bed sulking. Wife, for no reason, what are you angry about? The second good news is that the affiliated hospital bought an order for my mistake and spent 20,000 yuan as my sealing fee. Sun Kong said as he took out the already deflated file bag and handed the remaining 20,000 yuan to Park Chun-hong, truly deserving of the reputation of a scumbag. Yen Wangye read newspapers full of nonsense. Park Chun-hong took over 20,000 yuan and counted it carefully. Otherwise, it would be difficult for a wealthy man to be without money. As long as women can see money, all the shortcomings of this man can turn into advantages, and all the shortcomings will appear so cute. Oh my! It still needs to be a big hospital. It's not that generous. These 20,000 yuan are enough for our tuition fees for 2 semesters. Park Chun-hong counted the money and planned to use it with a smile on her face. Hi, wife. Money is a bastard that I can earn after spending it all. As long as you keep following me, you will definitely have no worries about food and drink in the future. Maybe one day I will buy you a big house to live in. Sun Kong thought he would soon complete the scumbag's counterattack mission. Isn't the 5 million he gave Zhou Xiaoguang going to be 100% deposited into his own account? You can brag, anyway you won't pay taxes. Park Chun-hong carefully received the money into her small bag, while using language to scold Sun Kong who was speaking wildly. I'm bragging. Do I need to brag? Sun Kong became a bit serious, cut it off. Hair is long, knowledge is short, let's go. Brother, take you to see what a wealthy person is. Chapter 9. Narrow Avenues for Enemies. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is it really fake? Park Chun-hong had an incredulous expression on her face. Suddenly, she thought of something that tightly hugged the small bag containing money, like a hunter waiting for a rabbit. She gritted her teeth and said, these 20,000 yuan, I don't have Wu Ri. I don't need you to pretend to be unjust and spend that unnecessary money. Sun Kong calmly put on his clothes and picked up Park Chun-hong's scattered clothes, handing them back to her gentlemanly. He said softly, darling, hurry up and put on your clothes, otherwise I won't be able to control them again. No way. Park Chun-hong snatched her clothes and bared her white teeth fiercely, in the next 2 months, you won't touch me. Okay, obey my wife. But do you want to make a bet with me? Sun Kong touched his nose and a new idea emerged from his head. What bet? What bet? Park Chun-hong asked curiously. Let's gamble not on these 20,000 yuan and go to the Hengyang Grand Hotel to have a good meal. How about it? If I can make us finish our meal smoothly and leave unscathed, even if I win. Sun Kong said the game rules seriously. Well, this way, what do we say if we win or lose? Park Chun-hung continued to ask curiously, blinking her big eyes. Did you lose? I promise I won't touch you for 2 months, and I'll be your personal servant for 2 months washing clothes, massaging, running errands, and writing papers. In any case, I won't make you work hard. But if I win, you have to let my little brother try what it feels like to be served by your big Mimi. How about it? Your winning rate is very high. Sun Kong once again showed a scumbag-like intoxicated expression. Park Chun-hong felt nauseous and angrily said, "You stinky scumbag, die BT, even if you die, I won't agree." Her pretty face had turned purple, and she never dreamed that this big scumbag would propose such a condition as a bargaining chip for the bet. Okay, let's take a small gamble this time and use your little hands to help my brother. How about that? Sun Kong felt that he had already achieved the effect of training his wife, so he took a step back and lowered the level that Park Chun-hong could accept. Okay, then you have to make sure that if you eat a domineering meal, miss, I can't help you get away from it as a thug, understand? Park Chun-hong thought of holding on to that thing. For a girl from a good family who was heavily influenced by traditional family education, it would be quite difficult for her to let go and not be influenced by it. No problem, just watch it. Walking. Sun Kong happily opened the door and made an elegant invitation gesture. This Hanyang Hotel is the only 5-star hotel in Tiandu City, and it is said that its history can be traced back to 300 years ago. It is a truly century-old hotel. In the Qing dynasty, several founders of the Hanyang Grand Hotel were all imperial chefs in the palace who specialized in cooking for Empress Dowager Cixi. After the Qing dynasty was overthrown, a republican system was implemented, and several imperial chefs also lost their golden rice bowls. They had to gather together to eat and open such a restaurant based on their skills. They are all masters who come from a professional background to serve the emperor and empress dowager. Even if the situation is chaotic, the business of Hanyang Hotel is not bad. But unexpected things happen, and people have their fortunes and misfortunes. The two parties are in conflict. After the new party came to power, they said they were implementing a ransom policy. The restaurant, which they had been operating for over 200 years, was actually bought by the government and became a state-owned restaurant. Just as several elderly founders with white hair were crying and hugging their ancestors' throats, things turned around again. Because the dishes in state-owned restaurants were not good, and the newly hired culinary masters were even worse, so the closure of the restaurant was inevitable. Those old people dug out the money at the bottom of their wallets and redeemed the bankrupt Hanyang Hotel, which has a history of over 300 years and has become a legend in Tiandu City. After the story was told, Sun Kong and Park Chun-hong also got off the subway and arrived at Ingchun Street, where the Hanyang Hotel is located. This is the busiest commercial street in Tiandu City, and the prices of commercial housing near it exceed the land near Tiandu University City by more than 10 times. If there is a storefront house on this street, it can be confidently said that this lifetime is designated to achieve financial freedom without worrying about food and drink. Sun Kong walked inside with Park Chun-hung, regardless of the situation. A waiter wearing a tailcoat and white gloves stopped the two of them and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, please show me your membership card." Membership card. You still need to swipe your card after eating. Sun Kong suddenly turned two heads in a row. What and what, he hadn't seen the restaurant table yet. Was it stopped at the door? My grass. It's you poor guy, no wonder I smell a bad smell from afar. The enemy's path was narrow, and the person speaking was Wu Jianfei. This guy was still surrounded by the silly big guys on the school basketball team, like a gangster in the underworld, who kept sweeping around Park Chun-hong with his triangular eyes, smoking a cigarette with his mouth closed. Sun Kong was about to get angry, but suddenly thought of his plan. He greeted Wu Jianfei with a smile as if nothing had happened and said, "Yo. Isn't this Da Fei? So you know how to get a card at Hanyang Hotel?" "Ah. This is my silver membership card. Wu Jianfei, thinking he was very handsome, took out a silver card from his suit pocket with the 2 gold dot-plated characters, Henyang, written on it. He deliberately placed it in front of Park Chunhong to let her see his money ability clearly, and then shook it in front of Sun Kong before handing it to the waiter's hand. The waiter respectfully took the card and inserted it into a nearby computer. Wu Jianfei's identity information immediately appeared on the computer screen. After confirming it was correct, he turned around and handed the card to Wu Jianfei with both hands, saying more respectfully, "Mr. Wu, I wish you a pleasant dinner tonight." Wu Jianfei proudly retrieved the card and introduced it to Sun Kong and Park Chunhong with an extremely proud tone, "Don't look at me as just a silver member. Silver members need to recharge 300,000 yen to start. Gold members need to recharge 500,000 yuan to start. Platinum members need to recharge 1 million yuan to start. Platinum members need to recharge 1.5 million yuan. If I hadn't told you, you probably wouldn't have known this secret only known to the upper class in your lifetime, would you?" He didn't look at Sun Kong at all and said to Park Chunhong, "I think it would be even more enjoyable if I could have dinner with Miss Chunhong's company." After finishing, he grinned and revealed a row of smoky and fiery yellow teeth. Of course, his friends who relied on him to eat also stood up and cheered for him, saying, "Yes, Miss Chunhong should go with us Fei Gu. Sun Kong, this useless scumbag, can't satisfy you." Park Chunhong could smell Wu Jianfei's bad breath from a distance, turned her head away in disgust, and promptly put on a spare mask to prevent being hit. "Yo! Isn't this Fij? What brings you, the god of wealth, to me?" A middle-aged woman with heavy makeup and a plump figure walked out of the elevator wearing a tight camisole skirt and warmly greeted Wu Jianfei. Chapter 10. Binding the Scumbag Girl Xu Piaopiao. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Doodle doodle. The Scumbag system, which had been silent for a long time, finally had a response this time. System prompt. Name. Xu Piaopiao. Age. 36 years old. Height. 1.62 m. Weight. 65 kilograms. Appearance. 100 loyalty. 1000 Scumbag value. 10,000 hobbies. Having an affair, having a husband present as an audience member. DDDD. System prompt. Matching successful. May I ask if the host wants to bind with this scumbag and start the scumbag action? When the loyalty of this scumbag to you reaches 100, you can not only receive a point reward of 5 enhancement points, but also have the opportunity to draw lots and open treasure chests. In addition, 10% of the scumbag gold you spent in this scumbag action will be directly exchanged for inflammatory coins and deposited into your bank account. Sun Kong didn't even think about it and chose to agree to bind. At this moment, Park Chunhong pushed his arm and timidly whispered, "Sun Kong, if you don't have money, don't embarrass yourself here. Let's hurry and leave. That Wu Jianfei has been staring at me with a shy expression, it's really annoying." At this moment, Wu Jianfei was chatting with Xu Piaopiao and saying, "Oh. Manager Su, I haven't seen you in the past few days. Your figure has become much fuller again." As he spoke, he reached out and pinched Xu Piaopiao's face, which was slightly baby fat. Wu Jianfei's fingers felt like they were bouncing, making her smile delicately. Xu Piaopiao knocked off Wu Jianfei's impolite big hand and said coquettishly, "Brother Fei, you want to eat my mother's tofu right now, isn't that okay? Sister, you're afraid you can't bear my kung fu." As he spoke, he deliberately tugged at the pitifully small camisole skirt, causing Wu Jianfei's bull eyes to stare straight at a deep groove in his chest. The 5 or 6 followers of Wu Jianfei also stared, afraid of missing a scene that would make their blood boil in the blink of an eye. They all echoed in unison, "Oh." From a heart-to-heart perspective, even though Xu Piaopiao's appearance has just passed, his figure is definitely the ceiling of the slightly chubby world. That small camisole dress can hardly wrap around 2 pairs of eager big waves, and a deep career line in the middle is also a direct blow to any man's adrenaline. In addition, his short hair and 2 golden earrings, as well as the slender high heels of a white collar lady, all of them display the charm of a mature woman, which makes one's heart skip a beat. Wu Jianfei's triangular eyes purred a few times, and a clever plan flashed through his head. He calmly took a sip of the cigarette he was holding in his mouth and said, "Sister, what you're saying is hurting my brother's heart. Look, today I'll bring you a new guest who wants to apply for a membership card." Without hesitation, she pulled Sun Kong over. If Xu Piaopiao found out that this kid couldn't even take out 500 yuan, she would definitely scold Sun Kong. This woman is a famous shrew, and it is said that even her husband has been scolded by her for impotence. Ha ha ha, I'll just wait for Sun Kong to embarrass in front of Park Chunhong. When Xu Piaopiao heard that a new guest was coming to apply for a membership card, he secretly felt grateful that he had received the commission for this month. Unable to help but be overjoyed, the baby's plump face was also filled with a slight blush due to excitement. However, at the sight of Sun Kong's attire, his heart immediately cooled. He wore a pair of old matching shoes, ripped jeans, and blue sportswear. This was clearly a poor student who dared to come to my mother's place to pretend and recharge his card. Doodle system prompt. Xu Piaopiao's loyalty to the host has decreased by another 500, with a loyalty of 0.1500. Please take prompt measures for the host. The prompt words for the scumbag system appeared in Sun Kong's mind again, but he still remained calm and composed, watching Xu Piaopiao's next performance like playing a monkey. At this moment, there were 10,000 grass mud horses galloping up and down in Xu Piaopiao's heart. She dared not directly curse Wu Jianfei because he was a silver member after all, and he couldn't be as reckless as a woman cursing the street for the sake of corporate image. So she paused for a moment and adjusted the obscene language that was about to be spoken. She crossed her waist and said, "Oh. I said Feej, are you making fun of your sister again, right? I don't think this little brother looks like a member with the ability to recharge cards in our store, does he? It's like a waitress coming to apply for a job, it's quite similar." Speaking with disdain, Xu Piaopiao fanned the surrounding air with his hand and glared fiercely at Sun Kong, saying, "Little brother, you're not lucky today. The waiters in our store must have a good appearance and be familiar with social etiquette. A bumpkin like you is very suitable to be a garbage collector in the kitchen. I think it's pretty good." Xu Piaopiao's aggressive posture, even if he doesn't use dirty words, but this meal, like a machine gun, was really enough to output. And her sharp and sarcastic remarks also attracted many good people to stop and watch, discussing Sun Kong's shameful behavior. They thought they were very just but forgot that they were also one of the members who couldn't afford the membership fee. Actually, it's just Zhu Beiji gnawing on pig trotters and killing each other. Doodle system prompt. The scumbag's loyalty to you has decreased by 500 points again. Park Chunhong was already feeling guilty and had just been mocked and stabbed in the pain by Xu Piaopiao. At that time, her waist bent, her head lowered, and her face turned red with anger. She desperately grabbed Sun Kong's arm, wishing she could immediately find a crack in the ground to avoid being pointed at by people around her and the merciless ridicule of Wu Jianfei and his group. Pa! Sun Kong slapped Xu Piaopiao's face firmly with his backhand, leaving a blood-red palm print on his face, but there was not much foundation make dot up on his palm, which also showed that Xu Piaopiao was very white. Sorry, cough 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 is a bit off topic. This scene stunned everyone present, and everyone exclaimed in unison. Wu Jianfei's gang also shook their bodies, and no one expected Sun Kong to suddenly attack someone. Doodle system prompt. Xu Piaopiao feels that the host's male dignity and loyalty have increased by 100 points. Damn it, have you made a mistake? This is really, hitting is kissing, cursing is love, wanting to fall in love is kicking. Sun Kong never imagined that this slap would even increase Xu Piaopiao's loyalty to him. These women are born lowly. Ah! An extremely persistent and penetrating scream almost pierced everyone's eardrums, and Xu Piaopiao howled like a rooster being plucked. Zheng Lao fart, where did you die? Your wife was beaten, and you dare not even make a sound. Who? Who hit my wife? A bearded man, who was less than 1.7 meters tall and had thick limbs like cows, waved 2 kitchen knives and bared his arms. He kicked open the room door and rushed out from inside, then swung a knife towards Sun Kong. Before Park Chun-hung could react, the knife had already been placed on Sun Kong's neck. When the bearded kitchen knife wanted to go further towards Sun Kong's neck, it was blocked by a small card. In the eyes of others, it was just an ordinary black bank credit card, but only Sun Kong knew it was a divine luxury card with 9,000 trillion yuan of scumbag gold.